So Arsenal 2, Leeds United 1. Kenny, I got the score correct. I said 2-1. Ola
I said 2-0.
You said 2-0. But yeah, we started real quick. Big error from their goalkeeper. Let Eddie Nketiah get on the score sheet. He then scored a great second goal. Great work from Martinelli, who I thought worked tirelessly today. Came off with cramp in the end. Some good performances today, but the Achilles heel at the other end. We shipped a stupid goal in with 10 men against us. And then it was kind of panic stations in the last 5 minutes in stoppage time. And Rodrigo, right at the death, probably should have equalised. But what was it like at the ground, mate? What did you make of it?
Well, first and foremost, like I said, most of the talk was about that song you love so much, and North London Forever. But in terms of the atmosphere was actually electric. You know, it was a nice sunny day. The atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. I think that Leeds fans contributed to it as well, because you know when you see away fans, you see fans as passionate as the Leeds fans were today. There was an odd incident at Tollerton where one pork chop who was so drunk decided to pick fights with Arsenal fans, bump into them, and then one guy threw a punch at him. Well, you and I might call it a punch, but the guy who was making trouble hardly flinched. So you kind of knew that the game had a bit of an edge because, you know, Leeds need to stay up. We want the top four. So, you know, the crowd were fantastic. You know, a sad report in terms of your views on that song. That song got a bit belted out, but not by the majority of fans you thought they would be. But start of the game, we were at it. And I must say, you know, you've got to credit Eddie Nketiah. As much as we believe, you know, for footballing reasons, it's probably not going to be work for Eddie at his football club. But what we've been calling out for is that if you do put the ball in the box, Eddie's there. You know, he was a proper centre forward. You want someone who's not going to hold the ball up, play false number 9. You want someone who's actually going to be the fox in the box. And, you know, Edward does that perfectly. And the first goal was very opportunistic, you know. And I think for footballing reasons, maybe if you're neutral, it kind of killed the game because I think for an Arsenal fan, it's fantastic. For a neutral, I think it killed Leeds, the confidence, because what it was...
They didn't even have a shot until they scored.
Yeah, but I think they were rattled. And then when Martinelli put that beautiful cross in for Eddie, again, great centre-forward play to sweep it in the net and make it 2-0. Leeds were rattled. And I think what's happened, right, is that the heads went. You know, does Ayling make that tackle on Martinelli? If they're not 2-0 down, I doubt it. Would Ayling make that kind of tackle if the goalkeeper didn't kill him in that first 3 minutes? It's all ifs and buts. It's all about, you know, little instances which killed Leeds but helped us. And I think that's what, you know, moving forward, that's what's probably going to happen at White Hart Lane, probably out at St James's Park, and obviously the game against Everton. You know, would it go to the final day? We win on Thursday? No, it doesn't. We already through the top four.
On Thursday.
Yes, definitely.
Who was your man in the match today? Me and Ola said Martinelli, but I thought Elneny was good today. I thought Cedric and Tomiyasu was superb as well. Yeah, some of the corners, and I know we've had debates about Cedric taking set pieces recently with some of the poor ones that he's done. I actually thought his corners today were unbelievably good. Right on the spot.
I totally agree. And one thing about it, right, is that you're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to get it right at every match. But, you know, there's a reason why, you know, we're still letting them take the free kicks because, you know, as you said today, his set piece delivery was fantastic today. But, you know, you talked about who was the man in the match. And I think there's many candidates. You can't discount Elneny. You know, you can't discount Odegaard, who, you know, had great control in midfield, played really well. And you've got to, you know, take your hat off to, you know, Rob Holding as well because, you know, it was a solid display from him, especially on the counter-attack. But he had some great help from Elneny because, you know, in the second half, when Leeds went out at 10 men after they got, you know, like sent off, you know, had the early bath. I think in certain instances, when you're down at 10 men, your passes have to be precise. You know, your runs have to be precise. And what people like Rob Holding did with his interceptions, and Elneny did with interceptions as well, is that it enabled it. It killed Leeds' confidence and reduced them to relying on set pieces, which they did in the second half. But for me, you could take your pick. I liked Rob Holding today. Martinelli obviously was very good in the first half. I think he struggled in the second half. Odegaard gave us control. But for me, you know, you look at Elneny. When Leeds do make that little break, who's making the tackle? It's Elneny, you know what I mean? And, you know, for me, I think for footballing reasons, Eddie obviously scored the 2 goals, and that's what matters, and he helped us win the football match. But in terms of like keeping control of the midfield, I'm going to get it on Eddie again. So he's definitely going to be my man in the match. But there's a few players who have got a great shout today, like Odegaard, a great shout for Rob Holding, a great shout obviously for Gabriel Martinelli as well.
Yeah, mate, Tomiyasu as well. I thought he had a good game. Very good.
Well, he can defend. You know what I mean, Lee? He's a defender, and I think that's the thing. You know, it's sad for Tavares because obviously Tavares, you know, he's better as a attacking left back, and but when it comes to disciplined defending, you know, especially if he was going to come up against Daniel James, then you want someone who can actually defend. And one thing about it, you may feel that Tomiyasu's not an orthodox full back on both sides, not just right back, but left back. But one thing about it is that he can defend, and he's very difficult, basically to overlap because his body shape is fantastic. He gets the right body shape where you can't get around him. And you go through him, he'll tackle you. So he's got a great defensive football brain, and I think that's one of the things I think we were coveted when he was out injured for those 3 months. And something maybe if you whisper it quietly, he's probably looking more solid with Tomiyasu in the football team.
Mate, I thought he was really good today, and he was playing left back today. Yeah, which when I see it. The starting 11. I went through some of the comments on Arsenal's Twitter page where they posted the starting 11. I think everyone expected Cedric to be left back. Yeah, but when we obviously see the starting 11 on the pitch and we see Tomiyasu at left back, I was like, well, that kind of makes more sense because Arteta said the other day Tomiyasu can play left back, right back, and centre back. Yeah, both of them today I thought were great. Yeah, I really did. Yeah, you mentioned Rob Holding as well. He made a couple of important tackles right near the end, and. For the goal, I just want to talk about their goal very quickly, because for me that was shocking defending, And
the thing is when you score from the opposition scores from a set piece, 9 out of 10 times there's 2 or 3 mistakes towards that goal. For instance, get a flick on, from a set piece is one of the most dangerous, dangerous kind of passages of play. And normally what happens is if someone gets a clear flick on, what will happen is that it leaves space. And what he done is that he left space for a lot of space for like Llorente to score that goal. And even in the second half, again from another set piece, this time from a free kick, again a flick on, and it enabled Rodrigo to get that powerless header. So it's one of those things where 9 out of 10 times we are very good at these sort of things, and our coach, one of our coaches, got very massive credit because we are good in those situations, especially when it comes to dealing with making sure that the opposition doesn't get a flick on, because it doesn't matter how good you are defensively, the opposition gets a flick on, then what will happen is that it will definitely be a free man, especially if someone gambles. You can't defend those situations. So the real mistake is the flick on. And sometimes, if someone gets around the back, that's good forward play rather than poor defensive play, because at the moment you're always on the back foot and you're blindsided. So that's why you've got to defend the first header.
Yeah, 100%. And mate, Rodrigo probably should. It was lucky that he didn't get any power on it, because it was looking like he could have just flicked it over the keeper. But
you just prayed that it wasn't. You can imagine it. You think, like, thank God they weren't Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, 100%. We obviously have Spurs on Thursday, Kenny. You're going to be at the game. First time.
Well, everyone who doesn't like our content, both collectively or individually, always tells me and you to kind of F off down the lane. Well, I'm going to be going down there on Thursday, and I'll be backing my boys in a North London derby, and all those people who, saying F off down the lane, I'm sure they'll be having a hot water bottle, hiding behind the sofa, and whilst I'm getting all sorts of, plastic bottles and all sorts of debris,
coins, everything.
Yeah, exactly, everything thrown at me. So I'm definitely going to be in the trenches watching our boys. But talking about the North London derby, if we win it, we're in the top 4. Spurs have to beat us. Spurs have to be the ones on the front foot, and Spurs have to, make sure they can get control of the football field. So midfield's going to be very, very important. As the players, we have to select as well. People say, like I said, it's been playing atrociously, and I agree with you. But, psychologically, he always seems to do well against Spurs. But do you play him? I don't know. Do you want the experience? It depends. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that Saka and Martinelli are fit, because we want Saka to attack, Ben Davies, and we want Martinelli to attack Emerson Royale. So, it's very pace on the counter attack is going to be very, very important. But then again, it's going to be important for them because you've got Kulusevski very quick. Harry Kane, we've got to make sure Harry Kane doesn't get out of the comfort zone and get into those passes. So when Nenny, it's going to be very important to make sure if Harry Kane tries to come out in the midfield and try and make those little passes for Kulusevski, that and then he's on him to make those kind of tackles and make sure Harry Kane hits it long rather than getting out of position and plays a through pass. Because what will happen is that Kulusevski and Song will be looking at those passes. So midfield's going to be very important in that sort of space. And Gabriel Magalhaes, for God's sake, if Harry Kane comes out into the midfield, don't bloody follow him, because what you're going to do is you're going to leave space behind you. So that's certain tactical things that we've got to, worry about when we play Spurs this Thursday.
100%. Listen, mate, enjoy the sun. Get home
Well, do
safely.
my best.
I've got 2 fan cams to do, one for me, one for Jez, and then player rating. So if you're about...
I'll be about then.
Yeah, sweet. All right, I'll send you a link in a bit. Thank you, mate. Love you, mate.
Love you, loads.
I'll set her out.
Always.